All right, you ready to get into some RC rock crawlers?
Always.
We're diving deep today into the top picks of 2024, and you send over this awesome YouTube video, Top 5 RC Crawlers of 2024. It's from a channel called RC Review, and these guys, they really know their stuff.
Oh, yeah. They put these crawlers through the ringer for sure.
Absolutely. So anyone out there thinking about getting into RC rock crawling, or even if you're a seasoned pro looking to upgrade, this video is a great place to start.
Definitely a great starting point.
So that's exactly what we're going to do today. Unpack their top 5 picks, but we're not just going to repeat what they said. We're going to go a little deeper, get a little geeky with it.
Yeah, let's do it.
What really stood out to you from that video?
Well, kicking things off at number 5, the Vanquish VRX STS. I gotta say, I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, that VRX STS. It's a ready-to-run platform, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing what they're doing with ready to run these days.
But, for those of us who might not speak fluent RC, what exactly does ready-to-run even mean?
That's a good point. Basically, it means you can take it straight out of the box, no assembly required, charge up the battery, and hit the trails.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, super beginner friendly.
Okay, so super beginner friendly, but the footage in this video, they were tackling some pretty hardcore obstacles right out of the box. Like, they were not holding back.
They weren't.
They even mentioned things like portal axles and 20% overdrive.
Yeah.
So again, for the non-gearheads out there, can you break that down for us? What does that even mean?
Portal axles, they're kind of like a secret weapon for ground clearance.
Okay.
Essentially, what they do is lift the whole drivetrain higher, giving you way more clearance than a standard axle. So it's almost like having monster truck axles on your crawler.
Wow.
And then the 20% overdrive, that's all about torque. Extra power when you need it most for those tough climbs.
Like an extra boost.
Yeah, exactly. An extra boost.
That makes sense. So you're getting all of this, and they said the price is $499. That seems like a really good deal, especially when you consider you probably spend way more building something comparable yourself.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Building a crawler with those specs from scratch would definitely cost you a lot more. It's a really good value proposition.
Fantastic value.
Okay.
But no crawler is perfect. So what are some of the downsides to the VRX STS?
Yeah. Well, one thing to consider is that high stance. It's great for clearance, like we talked about, but it can also make the crawler a little top-heavy.
Okay, so maybe not the best for really extreme climbs where stability is key.
Yeah, you got to choose the right tool for the job, right?
Right. Speaking of choosing the right tool, number 4 on the list was the Traxxas TRX-4M, specifically the High Trail Edition. Now, I'll admit, when I first saw this, I was a little like, another TRX-4? Really? I thought we'd seen it all with the TRX-4 platform, but I was wrong.
Yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due.
Traxxas really stepped it up with these new models.
Yeah, and it's worth noting there are actually 2 distinct versions here. You've got the base TRX-4M, which is all about performance, really focusing on getting that ground clearance through big tires.
Huge tires.
Yeah, massive tires. And then you've got the High Trail Edition, and that's where they really leaned into the looks.
Oh, the looks are stunning. Those bodies are something else.
They're absolutely gorgeous, definitely eye-catching.
But based on the video, both of them performed exceptionally well.
Yeah, they did. They've had years to optimize that TRX-4 platform, and you can tell.
Yeah, it's a really solid, reliable platform, but that refinement, it comes at a price, right? These models are a bit more expensive than the Vanquish.
Yeah, you're looking at around $550 for the TRX-4M, so definitely a bit of a premium.
Okay, $550. What's the catch? What's the downside?
Well, the one thing that stood out to me was the gearing. The TRX-4M's gearing is a bit high, which can actually make it a little sluggish at low speeds, when you're trying to really crawl over obstacles.
Okay. Interesting. So not quite as nimble as some of the other crawlers, but, those looks, they're hard to resist.
They're gorgeous. Those bodies are up there with some of the best in the RC world, I gotta say.
Yeah, they're really stunning.
All right, so moving on to number 3 on our list, we've got the Axial CJ7, which is built on the SCX10 III platform.
Yeah, the CJ7. This one really surprised me. Priced at $500, RC Review called it a true trail crawler. And the footage, it was just gliding over those rocks. So for the uninitiated, what does that mean? What makes it a true trail crawler?
The CJ7, it just embodies that balanced, refined performance that you want in a trail crawler. It's not about brute force or anything. It's about moving smoothly and in control over natural terrain.
So it's more about finesse than raw power.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a dancer on the rocks.
Okay, I like that. So it can handle the trails, and it seems like a really solid platform for customization as well.
Oh, absolutely. The SCX10 Thur platform is like super popular for modding, so you can swap out parts, upgrade the electronics, you can even change out the entire body if you want.
Yeah, and they were all about that in the video. They were so excited they actually bought 3 CJ7s just to start customizing them.
I know, right?
It really shows how much fun you can have with this hobby. I mean, it's not just about driving, it's about the whole community
Right.
and getting creative with your builds.
For sure.
But even the CJ7, it's got to have some weaknesses.
No, well, yeah, nothing's perfect. The CJ7 shares a similar issue with the Vanquish, actually, that high stance can affect its stability on those super extreme climbs.
Okay, so it's a bit of a trade-off.
Yeah, it's a trade-off. You get the ground clearance, but you sacrifice a little stability.
All
And
right.
then the other thing that RC Review pointed out was the two-speed transmission.
Oh, what about it?
It's not quite as smooth as they'd hoped,
Right.
but they actually recommended a pretty cool tip. They said use the dig feature instead.
The dig.
Ah.
Okay, so for those of us who don't know, what's the dig?
So the dig is basically an electronic locking differential that you control from your transmitter.
Okay.
It essentially locks one of the rear wheels, allowing the other wheel to spin freely, so you get that extra traction and control, almost like having a tiny little winch on your crawler.
Wow.
And they actually found that it was way more effective than the two-speed transmission for getting over those really tough obstacles.
Wow, so it's like, adapting and using the tools that work best.
Exactly.
That's great. All right, number 2 on the list, the FMS FC X10. This one is interesting because, well, you can actually find it.
Yeah, that's a big one these days. A lot of these crawlers are sold out everywhere, but the FCX10, it's still available.
Yeah, readily available. But there's a bit of a pricing discrepancy we need to clarify.
Yeah, definitely. So FMS's own website lists it for $399, which is an absolute steal.
That's an amazing price.
It is. But then if you go to a main hobbies, they've got it listed for $450. So if you're looking for the best deal, definitely head straight to the FMS website.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah. Now, the one they showed in the video was this awesome black version with a really cool top-down design.
It looked fantastic.
And they'd upgraded the wheels and tires, so it looked even better.
Yeah, yeah. But the real strength of this crawler is in its versatility.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, it's got 8 channels.
2 channels.
8 channels. That's a ton of control over every aspect of the vehicle.
Wow.
Plus, it comes with a brand new radio system, and this radio system is considered one of the best in the industry.
Okay, so you're getting top-notch control right out of the box.
Absolutely. And then it gets even cooler. The FCX10 also has a removable top, so you can enjoy that open-air driving experience.
That's amazing. Like a convertible crawler.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't stop there. It also has an adjustable drag brake that you can control right from your transmitter. And here's the kicker. You can switch between two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, and four-wheel drive on the fly.
What? Selectable drive modes? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like having multiple crawlers in one.
That's incredible. And they showed that in the video.
They did. They showed how agile it is, that incredible turning radius you get in the different modes. It's unbelievable. For $399, it's just a stunning package.
Stunning package. Wow. All right. We've arrived at the moment of truth. RC Review's #1 pick, the Redcat Ascent Fusion.
Ah, the Redcat Ascent Fusion.
This thing has been generating a lot of buzz, and for good reason.
It's a game changer for sure.
So let's break it down. What sets the Redcat Ascent Fusion apart? What makes it so special?
I think the biggest thing is that it combines those high-end features with a really, really affordable price point.
Yeah, we're talking about $399 for a brushless motor, a low center of gravity platform.
That's right.
And this isn't Redcat's first attempt at this. This is actually the 3rd iteration of the Ascent Fusion.
3rd version. They've really refined this platform over time and listened to feedback and addressed any issues from the previous models.
So they've really taken the time to get it right.
Oh, yeah. And it shows. This is a polished machine, both in performance and in how it looks.
Yeah, they went all out with that half-cab design. I mean, it's got a really attractive style.
It does. And it's not just about the looks. They've also upgraded the stock tires and shocks and even removed the negative spring in the front to improve that suspension travel.
Hold on. Back up. Can we explain negative spring for those of us who don't know what that means?
Sure. Basically, negative spring, it refers to how much the spring is compressed when the suspension's just sitting there at rest. So by removing some of that initial compression in the front, they're essentially giving the front wheels more room to travel upwards before they bottom out.
So more articulation.
More articulation, yeah, exactly. More ability for those wheels to move independently and maintain contact with the terrain.
Okay, so it's all about maximizing those crawling capabilities.
Precisely.
And From the video, I mean, it looked like it really worked. Box stock performance was really impressive.
It was amazing what it could do right out of the box.
Yeah, but did they have any tips for getting even more out of the Ascent Fusion?
Well, one thing they did mention is that you can swap out the stock wheels for some slightly heavier wheels, and that can actually enhance the performance even further.
So like a simple mod that can make a big difference.
Yeah, exactly. Simple but effective.
I love it.
And what's even cooler is that the Ascent Fusion comes in a few different options. You can get a 1/18 scale version for just $99 if you want something smaller, or there's a brushed motor version for $289 if you're on a tighter budget.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great to see them making RC rock crawling accessible to everyone.
I love that.
Yeah. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from the ready-to-run Vanquish VRX STS to the super versatile FMS FC X10 and the budget-friendly Redcat Ascent Fusion.
It's been a whirlwind of awesome crawlers.
So much cool tech.
We've just scratched the surface, though.
Yeah, we've got more to explore.
Stick around for part 2, where we're going to dig even deeper into these machines, compare their features, help you figure out which one might be the perfect fit for your RC rock crawling adventures.
Can't wait. Welcome back to our RC RockCrawler deep dive.
Man, I'm still thinking about all that tech from the last part. Portal axles, dig features, all this stuff. It's pretty amazing how much this hobby has advanced, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It seems like there's something new and innovative coming out all the time.
It really does.
Meh.
But, with all these advancements, does it make it harder to choose the right crawler? I mean, there are so many options now. Where do you even start?
That's a good question. It can definitely be overwhelming with all the choices out there.
It can.
But I think that's also what makes it so exciting. There really is a perfect crawler out there for everyone, no matter your skill level or what you're looking to spend.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so last we left off, we were talking about the Redcat Ascent Fusion, which snagged that top spot in the RC review video. And what really struck me is this isn't just like a brand new model. This is the third iteration of the Ascent Fusion.
Right. Redcat has really put in the work to refine this platform. They've listened to the community, made improvements, and really created something special. I mean, to achieve what they have at that price point is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, that $399 price tag for a brushless motor, a low center of gravity LCG platform, and all that performance. It's kind of unheard of, honestly.
It's a fantastic value. And they didn't skimp on the details either, like those aesthetic upgrades they made. That half-cab body style is super sharp.
It's super cool looking.
Yeah, and those upgraded tires and shocks, too. They really make a difference. Oh, and remember they talked about removing the negative spring in the front suspension?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Can you remind us what that does again?
Yeah, so negative spring refers to how much the spring is compressed when the suspension's at rest.
Okay.
By removing some of that initial compression in the front, Redcat essentially gave those front wheels more room to travel upwards before they hit the limits of their suspension.
So, like, more range of motion for the wheels.
Exactly. More articulation. It allows those wheels to move more independently and maintain better contact with the terrain, which is crucial for rock crawling.
Ah. Okay, so it's like giving it more grip and stability on uneven surfaces.
Exactly.
I get it now. And I love how they've got, like, different options for the Ascent Fusion, too. You've got that 1/18 scale version for $99 if you're just getting started, or you can step up to the brush motor version for $289.
It's fantastic that they're giving people options, making it easier to get into the hobby without spending a fortune. You can start with the basics and then upgrade as you get more experience.
I think that's so cool. It's like different levels to the game. But let's backtrack a little bit and talk about the FMS FC X10.
The FC X10, yes. That one really impressed me with its versatility.
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, being able to switch between two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, and four-wheel drive on the fly, that's a game changer.
Yeah, it's amazing. It gives you so much control over how the crawler handles in different situations. You can adjust your drivetrain depending on the terrain, which is not something you see in a lot of crawlers, especially at that price point.
Right. And speaking of price point, we need to remind folks again about where to get the best deal.
Definitely. Remember, FMS's website has it listed for $399, which is a steal.
A steal. But Main Hobbies has it for $450. So.
Yeah, so head straight to the FMS website if you want to save some cash.
Absolutely. Now, besides that, you mentioned the design. They showed a black version in the video with a top-down body style, and it looked so sleek.
Oh, yeah. It's super stylish, very modern looking. And those upgraded wheels and tires just completed the look.
Yeah, and it's like a convertible crawler, right? You can take the top off for those warm, sunny days on the trail.
Exactly. Perfect for cruising around and enjoying the scenery.
I love it.
And let's not forget that adjustable drag brake. You can really dial in your descents with that thing. It's amazing how much control you have with the FC X10.
It's those little details that really make a difference, right?
They really do. They show how much thought FMS put into this crawler. Okay, so we've talked about Redcat FMS. What about the Axial CJ7? What are your thoughts on that one?
You know, I have to admit, I have a bit of a soft spot for the CJ7. There's just something so classic and iconic about that Jeep body style.
Oh, absolutely. It's a timeless design, for sure. But it's not just about the looks. The CJ7, built on that SCX10 3 platform, is a seriously capable crawler. Remember, RC Review called it a true trail crawler, and I think that's spot on.
Yeah, I remember that. And the footage in the video, it was handling those natural obstacles with ease.
Yeah, it just moved so smoothly and effortlessly. It all comes back to that balance we talked about earlier. The CJ7 has a really well-tuned suspension geometry, a good wheelbase for stability, and those tires are grippy.
Yeah, it's like it was made for those uneven surfaces.
Exactly. And the other great thing about the CJ7 is its customization potential. That SCX10 3 platform is like the gold standard for modding.
Oh yeah, it's a tinkerer's dream.
Seriously. You can swap out parts, change the electronics, even put a different body on it if you want. It's like a blank canvas for your RC creativity.
I love that they even showed the RC Review guys buying like 3 CJ7s
Yeah.
just to start experimenting with all the different upgrades and modifications. That's commitment.
It is. It just goes to show you how much fun you can have customizing these things. It's not just about driving, it's about making it your own. But I will say, the CJ7 does have one weakness that's similar to the Vanquish.
You mean that slightly higher stance that can affect stability on extreme climbs?
Yeah, exactly. It's a trade-off to get more ground clearance, but you might sacrifice a little bit of stability on those super technical obstacles.
Right, I remember them saying to use the dig feature instead of the two-speed transmission.
Oh yeah, the dig. That's a super cool feature that deserves a little more explanation. For those who are new to this, the dig is basically an electronic locking differential that you can activate right from your transmitter.
Yeah.
So normally when you're turning your crawler, the inside wheel spins slower than the outside wheel, right? That's what allows you to turn smoothly. But when you're rock crawling and you need maximum traction, you want both wheels to be spinning at the same speed.
Oh, that makes sense.
And that's where the dig comes in. It basically locks that rear axle, giving you way more grip when you need it most. RC Review found that it was actually more effective than the two-speed transmission for tackling those really tough obstacles.
Wow, so it's like a secret weapon for those tricky climbs.
Exactly.
Okay, now we got to talk about that Traxxas TRX-4M High Trail Edition.
Ah, yes, the TRX-4M. That's a name that's synonymous with RC crawling.
Definitely. But this particular edition, the High Trail Edition, is it all about those looks? Because those bodies are just phenomenal.
You know, the TRX-4M definitely scores high in the looks department. Those new body styles are amazing. They've really captured the essence of those full-size off-road rigs.
They're stunning.
But it's not just about the looks. Traxxas has been making crawlers for a long time, and they know what they're doing. The TRX-4 platform is known for its reliability and durability.
So it can take a beating and keep on crawling.
Absolutely. It's built to withstand the rigors of off-roading, but that quality comes at a price. And the TRX-4M models are definitely on the higher end, around $550.
So it's more of a premium option. I guess the question is it worth that extra cost compared to something like the Axial CJ7, which is a little bit more affordable?
That's a tough one. It really comes down to personal preference and what you're looking for in a crawler.
Right. It's about finding the right fit for your needs and your budget. I think that's a great place to pause for now. We've explored the Redcat Ascent Fusion, revisited the FMS FC X10, and even touched on the world of Axial and Traxxas.
It's been a lot to process.
It has. But don't worry, we're not done yet. Join us for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll help you navigate all this information and figure out which one of these amazing crawlers might be the perfect choice for your RC adventures. All right, final part of our RC RockCrawler deep dive. We've seen some incredible machines, talked about some awesome tech, and now it's decision time.
Yeah, it's time to help our listeners figure out which one of these crawlers might be the right fit for them. I mean, we've thrown a lot of information their way. Portal axles, LCG platforms, dig features.
Yeah, it's a lot to process.
It is. So where do we even start?
Right. What are the key things our listeners should consider when choosing their perfect crawler?
Well, I think the first thing you got to think about is budget, right?
Gotcha.
I mean, we've seen crawlers ranging from under $300 to over $500, so it's important to know what you're comfortable spending before you start shopping around.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't get carried away by all the bells and whistles if it's going to blow your budget.
Exactly. Once you've got your budget figured out, then you can start thinking about the features that are most important to you. Like, do you prioritize performance above all else?
Or maybe you need something super durable if you're going to be really putting it through its paces.
Yeah, durability is key for some people.
And what about looks?
Oh yeah, scale looks. Some people are all about those realistic details and authentic body styles.
Right. Like you want your crawler to look like a miniature version of your dream off-road rig.
Exactly.
It adds a whole other level of enjoyment to the hobby.
For sure. But it's not all about looks and performance, though. You also got to think about your driving style.
Your driving style, yeah. Are you a technical crawler? Slow and methodical, taking on those challenging obstacles?
Or are you more of a speed demon?
Some people love the challenge of those technical trails,
Right.
while others prefer those wide open spaces and just going fast.
Yeah, and knowing your preferred driving style is going to help you narrow down the options, for sure.
It really will. Now, there's one more thing we got to talk about, and that's customization.
Oh, yeah, customization. For a lot of people, that's a huge part of the hobby.
Absolutely. Tinkering with their crawlers, upgrading parts,
Yeah.
Making them truly unique.
It's all about personal expression.
Right?
But some crawlers are more mod-friendly than others.
Yeah, like the Axial CJ7 with that SC X10 platform,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah, the CJ7 is super popular for modding. You can find tons of aftermarket parts and upgrades for it.
And remember how excited RC Review was about that? They bought like 3 CJ7s just to start customizing.
I know.
So yeah, if you're someone who loves to tinker, the CJ7 is a great option. But if you're more into something that's ready to run right out of the box, maybe the Vanquish VRD STS is a better fit.
Yeah, it all comes down to what you're looking for. There's no one best crawler. It's all about finding the one that matches your needs and your preferences.
I love that.
Me too.
And it's one of the things that makes this hobby so great. There's just so much variety, so much room for personal expression.
Yeah, it's a hobby that anyone can enjoy, no matter your age, your skill level. And the best part is, it's always evolving.
Always evolving, yeah. New technologies, new innovations. I mean, who knows what the future holds for RC rock crawling?
It's an exciting time to be a part of it, that's for sure.
Absolutely. But as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Yeah.
Don't get too bogged down by all the technical details and the specs and everything.
Right. Remember, at the end of the day, RC rock crawling is all about having fun.
It's about getting outdoors, enjoying the challenge.
The thrill of conquering those obstacles.
Right. And it's about connecting with a community of people who share your passion.
It's about creating memories that'll last a lifetime.
So yeah, go out there, explore, experiment, and most importantly, have fun.
Have a blast.
That's a wrap on our RC Rock Crawler Deep Dive.
We hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you found it insightful, maybe even a little inspiring.
We encourage you to keep learning, keep exploring.
Yeah, keep pushing the limits.
And most of all,
happy crawling, everyone!